Recently, I went back to look for the classic Angry Birds game, one of the most popular mobile games around the 2010s. I was really disappointed to see that the game and many of the early Rovio classics were removed from the App Store, such as Angry Birds Go, Angry Birds Space, Angry Birds Stories 1 and 2, Angry Birds Epic, and more. However, I was happy to find a recently released series of Angry Birds short animations, titled Slingshot Stories. And oh my, was it entertaining, and it provided a sweet source of nostalgia for the classics. Although, I noticed some shady details and storylines that I thought were worth mentioning, and for some reason, no one is talking about it. And what I found could explain the Angry Birds lore, and it's dark. So without further ado, let's overanalyze Angry Birds. The first thing that I want to put in place is the fact that the Angry Birds game and movie are two separate timelines, and I'm not just saying this because of the style change. This is relevant because in a canon show called Angry Birds Toons that ties in with the games, states that both the birds and the pigs live on the same island, Piggy Island. However, with the film, it is clear that the two species live on separate islands entirely. And I know what you are thinking, isn't there a new Angry Birds game that is coming out with featuring movie characters in the classic design and game concept? And yes, but I can disprove why this debunks what I said. And if you don't care to hear this part, go to the time card in the corner of the screen. In the game, Angry Birds 2, around the time the second film came out, they released a few new characters from the film into the game, such as Leonard. However, this doesn't fit, harming other pigs as the King Pig. Not to mention the canon in-game King Pig from the Toons also being in the game and is a boss to take down. Also, Zeta was added into the game along with Leonard. With these in mind, it is easy to see that they were simply added to promote the second film. And recently, Rovio has been making games based on the movie designs, and those weren't all that popular or well received. So it makes sense that they changed the design back to the classic in order to recover from the decrease in popularity. They also announced Bad Piggies 2 around the same time, again, to boost popularity in the series. Not only that, but I explained that the design is not the reason I separated the two timelines. It is purely based on story and the world rather than the appearance of the characters. And looking back at Angry Birds Rebound, the main antagonist is just Zeta and the other eagles, obviously a callback to the movie. So after saying all this, I do not think of Angry Birds Rebound as canon or relevant to the main series. However, it is just a spin-off based off the movie and fused with the classic design to boost popularity as well as nostalgia. To start off, in this short, we see a pig who wants to get Red's autograph, already having chucks and bombs. He is obviously obsessed with them. Just this alone is odd if you think about it. They crash your homes and kill your friends. Unless something else is going on, of course. Later, he goes into a pre-built building, but for some reason voluntarily, and we know that they knew that the birds were coming because the pig brought the autograph and was chuckling in excitement, like he knew that Red was going to come and autograph his photo. But why would they go in the building knowing that they would die? Later, his photo gets autographed, but he gets crushed by a block of wood and pops like in the game. But he then teleports to his locker from earlier. Notice the lockers in the back. And we know that they were the same lockers because inside we see the pig's other autographed photos. This piece will become really important later. But the autograph was dropped, so Red handed the photo to another pig and crushed him with wood. Then that pig teleports to where the other pig was teleported to, as if Red was using the pig as a sending mechanism, like he knew where the pigs go when they pop. Interesting. In the next short, we start up in a pig's party. Later, the birds join the party, and then we see a cake that a pig rolls in. What struck me as odd is that the party was intended for the birds. If you look at the cake, you can see little versions of Chucks and one red with a slingshot on the top. In the back, there is a sign that reads Anniversary. This makes sense because these shorts were made for Angry Birds' 10-year anniversary. But again, this still ties into the lore. I'll explain later. In the next short, we see a janitor pig being pulled out of the locker area from earlier and forced to get into the buildings. And he's obviously scared, and strangely enough, he's the only one scared. But what I think is weird is that why would they intentionally put pigs in there to be destroyed? Something tugged at me. This was unusual, strange, unless if we connect the party, Red knowing where pigs respawn, pigs being put in the buildings, pigs liking the birds. I've got it! is all a show. Don't believe me? Let's look at more clues. We see that Angry Birds Toons was just a show. We watch the birds wait for the pigs to finish building. The pigs watch Red slingshot himself on empty buildings at night, and the pigs enjoy it. But why would Red do that, I ask? Simple. He's practicing for his act. We see that Angry Birds Space was just a large curtain being drawn, and we even see the birds finish building for the pigs when the construction worker was sleeping. Even the anniversary banner proves this. It is the anniversary for the show. But here's the final piece of the puzzle. Ever wondered why the eggs never hatch throughout the many games they have been in? They're props. The bottom line, it's all fake. But why is this a dark theory? If we know the pigs aren't bad, and it's all fake, you'll see. Remember how the pigs pop and teleport to the lockers? Well, in another short, we see what happens in between. For this, we revisit the scared janitor from earlier. He gets popped, and we see him teleport to a blank white space. Strangely enough, though, we know where he is. When he teleports, we see two characters pass by, Pig Batman and Pig Robin. These exact characters are from an old stop-motion show called Piggy Tales. We also see the Wind Pit and the Doctor from the same title. We see him get a spoon of something, then he pops right by the lockers. What makes this dark, though, is the fact that we know when they pop, they die, because in Angry Birds 2, the game, next to Pig Pop Count, we see a gravestone. What I also noticed is that only the pigs involved in the play come back. Those characters like Pig Batman and Pig Robin have been there for a while and they never get treated. The life of a pig in Piggy Tales world is also miserable, dreadful, and full of pain. Constantly throughout the show, we see the pigs get squished, beaten, and hammered and experience real pain. At the end of the show, we see them all tidy up and walk through a bright gate or door. So what is this place really? It is purgatory. Or pigatory, whatever you want to call it. But why do I think this? Let me explain. But first off, what is purgatory? By definition, it is a place or state of suffering inhabited by the souls of sinners who are expiating their sins before going to heaven. I'll explain in simpler terms. Purgatory is a term used by the medieval Roman Catholic faith. They believe that after you die, you are put into purgatory. This was a place where the souls of the dead suffer so that their sins would be made pure. After a long period of time, you would be released to go to heaven. This makes sense. They die, they suffer, and then go through a bright gateway and escape, supposedly to the afterlife, or heaven. And you may say, wait, aren't pigs happy there? And yeah, it seems that way, until you look closer. The pigs are often depressed, and whenever they find something new, they get harmed. Like the machine that reverses gravity, or the machine that pounds pigs to the floor, or the pig that gets abducted by an alien from the inside, or just look at the pig that was trying to be entertained and ended up shooting in the air like a balloon and falls to his demise. Two pigs become objects and can't move, then a pig gets forever crushed by a balloon of all things, proving that anything can harm you there. Then pigs are just playing soccer together, and a piano falls on one of them. And finally, we see pigs stuck to the ceiling because of a trampoline. And yes, I know that in the final episode, it shows that the screen may be a camera and there is a stain on it. And that there are other cameras filming what happens. So those signs point to all being in Act 2, right? You're right. That's what Rovio wants. He wants kids to look at everything at face value. If you look in the background, behind the pig in the front, you see all the pigs that were harmed throughout the series. Just look. The pig is still jammed into a jar, and the pigs are still glued together. If this is apparently irreversible, imagine how many bodies they have to scrape off of the floor. And remember, they have to die to come here, so why would they be filming a show? Thankfully, I think I know what they are doing with cameras there. In Slingshot stories, we say that items can be carried through to Piggy Tales world and back, and we also know that pigs are stuck in that reality, and that the pigs from the real world don't get to see the dark side of it. They just get the syrup and go right on back. They even see the other pigs living in the same world and that there are no cameras anywhere, proving that Piggy Tales reality isn't just a show. What's interesting though is that Autograph Pig only sees them enjoying themselves, but we know from Piggy Tales that those windhole pigs eventually get stuck in that pit and Pig Batman suffers short after. So what am I even saying? I believe that perhaps pigs died with cameras on hand and got stuck in purgatory. Despite their suffering, the acting pigs just walk past and abandon them. But with the syrup that they take, any pig could go back to the real world. So they decide to film the harsh reality of their world, capturing that even while doing leisurely things like playing soccer, they still suffer. So they try to have fun in the midst of the horrifying reality, but all backfires and ends up harming more individuals. And there even is a way for them to send the message. The acting pigs that died about to go back could get handed the camera and then bring it back to the real world. And we have seen items transfer from world to world before, so it's definitely possible. But then you may ask, why is the pig at the end of the show sad that he's leaving purgatory? Shouldn't he be happy? Yes, and that is my next point. The reason he is sad is that they never accomplished the mission. To be able to receive some of the potion that the acting pigs get in order to escape. They didn't win them over. The message wasn't well received. And if you notice, no one at the end of the show went back. That's why we still see the pig in the jar, the pig snake, the soccer ball, the elevator full of pigs that can't get out, even the UFO pig. But he's not sad for himself, because they are winning their way to freedom and to the afterlife. He is sad for the ones to come. He couldn't help them. He couldn't have potion reserved for them when they arrive there. And we see in the later season, Piggytail's pigs at work, that the trend continues, suffering all the time. They are the new arrivals for Purgatory. But there's another factor that I haven't brought up yet. In Purgatory, not everyone leaves at the same time. It all depends on how worthy you are to go to heaven. So why do all the pigs leave at the same time, you may ask? Well, they don't. Remember the pianist pig from Season 1? Guess what? He's still in Season 2. Up to the end, when there are no other repeat characters. We even know that it isn't an accident, because in Season 1 finale, in the background we see a piano rolling by, assumedly to leave, but we never see the pianist with it. This even explains why in Season 2, the pianist doesn't have his piano, he becomes an opera singer. I'm not counting Seasons 3 or 4 of Piggytails as canon to the show of the game world, because the show is set in a stage where pigs are actually watching, and it turns out that the city from the films is right outside. So that proves the separate universes of Season 1 and 2, and Season 3 or 4 of Piggytails. Bottom line, the game is all an act. Piggytails is purgatory that the pigs tried to save others from but never could, and the pigs are forced to kill themselves over and over again for the sake of a show. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like to show your support. I will be making many more theories and all things that deserve to be overanalyzed. If you have something you want me to look into, please leave a topic in the comments. See you next time.